Hello, everyone. You're listening to Cinema 5000. My name is Mallory. This is my podcast where I talk to you about every movie I have recently seen. It has been a bit since I've done a regular episode. I finished out an episode last time that was for basically the end of January, and we did have one or two movies drag in through January, now into February, and the month of February is a shorter one in some ways, of course. 28 days this year, not a leap year. But what are we at for the count? That's what you want to hear about. We're at 5,938 films. I think I said April 14th is when I'm going to hit the 6,000 mark. It's seeming like that might be a difficult task at this point. Unfortunately, I've been busy. A lot of stuff going on. Not a lot of time for movies. I've had to really make it work. But I have a kind of easygoing weekend ahead of me, so I'm hoping I can at least watch 3 movies this weekend. But where do we start? What's the first thing we're going to talk about? The first of the last couple movies for January that I sort of got in before the wire. I'm not trying to do everything month by month. Gotta watch as many as possible. Oh no, I just have to take things as I go. Life is just, it's weird. But a movie that's not weird is Peter Hujar's Day from 2025, directed by Ira Sachs. There is no tagline for this motion picture. A recently discovered conversation between photographer Peter Hujar and his friend Linda Rosenkrantz in 1974 reveals a glimpse into New York City's downtown art scene and the personal struggles and epiphanies that define an artist's life. This stars Ben Whishaw as Peter Hujar, and Linda Rosenkrantz is played by Rebecca Hall. And it's just these two people having conversations, discussing Peter's day. Mostly Peter talking, Linda reacting occasionally. And this is an interesting little film. It's not very big and elaborate or anything. It's literally just taking place in an apartment. An apartment that is 1,000,000% designed a way that I would want to live in. It was just my style. 70s, coolness, really tremendous. I wanted the apartment bad, but how is Ben Whishaw as Peter Hujar, the photographer? I think he's pretty good. I like this movie. It's a very simple idea, just this conversation, and I think if this is not your kind of movie, you're not going to seek this out anyway, but I would recommend this movie. It's just it's not even like a slice of life, it's just a time. It's a time and a place. It's Peter Hujar talking. It's these people that you understand completely who they are. And I don't really know much about Peter Hujar, but I was intrigued by the concept of this movie, and watching it was very, very delightful in odd ways. And I didn't love it. I didn't hate it or anything, but I just found it to be pleasant. Just kind of, in some ways feeling very experimental, but I've seen plenty of movies that are just conversations. I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time is My Dinner with Andre. And this is not as, how do I say it, as deep as that, but if any part of the 70s art scene, New York City creatives, let's say you're into Andy Warhol or whatever, this might work for you. I say give it a shot. I'm gonna give this one 3 stars. Peter Hujar's Day from 2025, directed by Ira Sachs. You can watch it now on the Criterion channel if you have it. Otherwise, I think it is available as a digital rental. And Ira Sachs, I've only seen a couple of his films. I've seen Passages. I think Passages is probably a little bit better than this one, but this one is still delightful. Frankie, not a fan. I was not a fan of that film at all. Married Life, I barely remember anything about that movie. Bit more conventional. But I would say check out Peter Hujar's Day. You might like it. And if you like Ben Whishaw and Rebecca Hall, oh, absolutely watch it. Now, up next, we have The Wife from 1995, directed by Tom Noonan. I saw this some weeks ago, and Tom Noonan just passed away, so rest in peace, Tom Noonan. A very interesting character actor, probably best known for him being the villain in the movie Manhunter. Oh boy, if you have not seen Manhunter, watch Manhunter. I love Manhunter. He's also really tremendous as the villain in the movie Last Action Hero. Do people remember that? But Tom Noonan was also a writer and director as well. And he has one movie that I think a lot of people have, a reference to when they think of Tom Noonan, the movie called What Happened Was. And I have not seen anybody talk about the wife. Um, but maybe there's a reason for that. There's no tagline for this film. A sudden visit from a patient and his unstable, outrageously candid wife leads to a delirious night of shattering revelations for a husband and wife team of therapists. This stars Julie Haggerty and Tom Noonan as that couple in their house. And then one night, the client, Cosmo, played by Wallace Shawn, barges in with his wife, Arlie, who's played by Karen Young. And he's not having a good night, and he just needs some help, and he wants to talk, and the couple is about to have dinner, so it's like, okay, we'll just make it a foursome for dinner. But Arlie, Karen Young's character, she's got a score to settle, because she feels like her husband going to a therapist means that she doesn't see this side of her husband. She's very jealous and vindictive. The movie's kind of a disaster in some ways at the beginning. It's really not that convincing, and it's disjointed in a way that's really not appealing to the viewer. But as it went along, it started to really come together more as Arlie's convictions and her frustrations become more and more apparent and very verbalized, and she gets, she goes off the chain a bit. But I think this is a movie that really didn't kind of work for me on many levels at all until probably the last half hour, and I think that's a bit of a shame because the setup for what this is, like, someone like Wallace Shawn just barging in right before dinner and being a little erratic and off, that could easily work in any movie, but it just feels a little bit too disjointed and not really working. And I feel like this is a movie, like, if you put it in a theater with regular audiences, not like young people, but just people who would want to see this kind of movie, they would almost like want to walk out for like the first half of the film. It just doesn't kind of come together. But once it starts to come together, what Karen Young is doing here as Arlie and her frustrations as they're coming out, it's a bit familiar. It's a very Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf kind of thing where people are, criticizing each other and I'm just doing this and blah, blah, blah. And this is my life and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know what I'm getting at here with this. And even if you don't, I don't quite recommend the film, which is too bad because Tom Noonan didn't make many films. But if you want to see a film he made that you might enjoy, maybe you should just watch What Happened Was. So The Wife from 1995, directed by Tom Noonan, the late Tom Noonan, so rest in peace again. Gave this one 2.5 stars. Yeah, it was just really kind of tough to get through until it wasn't hard to get through. And I realized that, unfortunately, when people don't bring up movies like this, it's because maybe they have an unfavorable opinion, or for the fact that only 489 people have logged this movie on Letterboxd. That's not very many. I did rent this as a digital rental because I had been wanting to see it for a while. I think I had seen it on like Hoopla and Canopy, and then it wasn't on there, and I was like, oh, this is a movie I'd want to see. But yeah, and now Tom Noonan has passed. I also want to mention that Tom Noonan, in so many movies. He's in Heat. He's in San Antonio in New York. He's in Anomalisa, though not physically. A very storied, long career for Tom Noonan. And I last saw him in theaters in the film Eight-Legged Freaks. And oh boy, I can't believe I didn't bring this up at the start. He's also in the movie The Pledge. Very, very creepy in The Pledge. You might even say typecast. I like The Pledge a lot. That is a very creepy, disturbing movie that I've always enjoyed, flaws and all. It just kind of hits for me. And check out The Pledge, directed by Sean Penn from 2001. Okay, up next we have Arco from 2025, directed by Ugo Bonvenu. There is a tagline. What if rainbows were people from the future traveling in time? 10-year-old Arco lives in a far future. During his first flight in his rainbow suit, he loses control and falls into the past. Iris, a girl his age from 2075, comes to his rescue and tries by all means to help send him back to his era. Very interesting film. I saw this because I knew it was nominated for Best Animated Feature and it was coming to my theater. I was like, well, why not? Let's just go. I didn't know a thing about it. I thought it was really beautiful and lovely. Reminded me of other films I had seen as a child from different times. You know, it's a kind of uh, conventional story. Child discovers a person who's an outsider who maybe doesn't belong and then tries to help them get home. Flight of the Navigator, E.T., all those things. Even Labyrinth. But I found Arco to be a really delightful film. Kind of simple. I mean, it is just the story of these two children getting to know each other, and then maybe the outsiders who are going to possibly get in the way of the journey that Arco needs to eventually take, but with some futuristic touches, robots and such. Kind of funny that in the future we have robots taking care of children at all ages. But I was really taken by this. I found its whimsy and its ideas to be very lovely. I'll say lovely again, beautiful, touching, fantastical. And I'm all for an animated film. It's going to be like future landing and really have different ideas. And as it all ties itself together in the end, I was very, very much emotional at the end of this. But I would definitely recommend Arco from 2025, directed by Ugo Benvenu. Gave this one 3.5 stars. I really quite enjoyed this one. And I don't know if it's in a theater near you anywhere, but I'm sure it'll be on streaming soon. And man, I liked the animation for this one a lot too. Very colorful, very flighty. Yeah, there's a lightness to it too. And even when it got dark, I was very much taken with it. I don't know what else to say. I did like the robot stuff too, but yeah. So it's a good one. And now up next we have Song Sung Blue from 2025, directed by Craig Brewer. The tagline for this film is "Inspired by a legend, bound by a dream." Based on a true story, two down and on their luck musicians form a joyous Neil Diamond tribute band, proving it's never too late to find love and follow your dreams. This is based upon the documentary of the same name called Song Sung Blue. And if you want to watch that documentary, it's very good. It's on YouTube. It's about Mike and Claire Sardina and their life in Wisconsin in the shadow of Neil Diamond, but enjoying that so much because they are both tribute performers. And Mike, when he meets Claire for the first time, he's not having the best time, but he meets her, and her creativity and her exuberance charms him, and they start to build a life together. And this movie made me like Hugh Jackman. I'm not a Hugh Jackman fan. This movie also has a very good performance from Kate Hudson. When she's good, she's great. When she's great, she's very memorable, and I think she's very memorable here. She's a great singer in this film. Hugh Jackman, I mean, he's a singer. I just think about that guy on TikTok. I don't have TikTok anymore, but he does all the impressions of Hugh Jackman. You know, Hugh Jackman's vibrato is very much like a thing. That's not a very good impression of it, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Kate Hudson. When I heard about this movie and then watched the documentary after seeing it, I was like, there's really no better choice than Kate Hudson to play this woman, Claire Sardina. And I was right. She's great. She's the heart of this film. And above all, her performance being really good, Hugh Jackman being good despite my feelings about him. The musical moments in this movie are so good. It was so good in a theater. Like, way better than it should have been. Like, this is a very conventional film about people and their struggles. Most of it's true. I know there's some elaborations, some fudging of details to make the movie work as far as the timeline the film wants to show. But as a motion picture, that's a translation of both the real life people and then the references in the documentary and then the performances and the musical moments. Like, those musical moments, just, they take the cake. They made me rate this movie higher than I kind of normally would for a movie like this. So I had to give Song Sung Blue 3.5 stars. I should also mention that there's a very colorful cast of actors you might recognize, like Michael Imperioli, Fisher Stevens, Jim Belushi. Very much doing the Midwest thing here with Jim Belushi. He's not doing da Bears, but it's Wisconsin. You know, we're playing the casinos. Another bad impression. You're welcome. It's a joyous film. It's a nice film, and I think it's pretty well done. And Kate Hudson is great. If you hate Neil Diamond, though, don't watch this movie. Though I think it would be so fun to watch back to back this movie and Saving Silverman about other Neil Diamond tribute acts. Though that movie has Steve Zahn, Jack Black, and Jason Biggs, and the woman from Hell, Amanda Peet. It's a very misogynistic comedy, but it's kind of fun. I don't hate it. It's almost a so bad it's good. But Song Sung Blue, can't say that about this. This is a good movie, so it's a good movie. 3.5 stars for the film from 2025, directed by Craig Brewer. I should mention this is now available on Peacock, so if you have a Peacock subscription, you can watch the film in streaming. Though in theaters, I gotta say, those music moments, they were just so good. They just so worked. Now, another music movie. It's The Moment from 2025, directed by Aiden Zamiri. The tagline is, and it's a movie about Brat and Charlie and a tour, but none of it happened, but maybe some of it did. A rising pop sensation navigates the complexities of fame and industry pressures while preparing for her arena tour debut. Charlie XCX plays Charlie XCX. She's so brat. She's so in it. She's so popular right now, and she's getting ready for her tour. There are some higher-ups that work with Charlie, such as Rosanna Arquette's character, Tammy, who are suggesting, hey, maybe we should do a big tour documentary and have it directed by Johannes, who is this hit director. Like, he is The Moment, and Charlie is The Moment, so why not bring the two of them together? However, Alexander Skarsgård's Johannes is a nightmare. All his ideas are just very much clashing with what Charlie is, and she has to kind of come to terms with the fact that this is the thing she has to do right now in her career, and it's probably going to be bad, and she's not sure how to feel about it. She also has Celeste, who's played by Haley Benton Gates, who seems to be like the tour director. I don't think I ever caught what her title was, but she's one of those managers who works really well with Charlie, and then Johannes coming in causes a lot of tension and a lot of stress for not just Celeste, but for Charlie. So everybody is kind of like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing. So Charlie, she's a little frustrated because she can't just be a yes person to what everything Johannes wants to do, or should she be? And then the pressures of this thing happening, like the tour beginning, the way that the stage is changing for Johannes's like needs and everything that's coming up on her. It's a lot to take in, and that's what this is really about. This is really about who this artist is, this version of Charlie XCX, and how can she get to where she needs to be, for better or worse. I like this movie. I like this self-awareness that Charlie XCX had. There's some like references here and there that really want to talk about how can she keep her identity as an artist? How can she keep her sanity? It's not easy being famous. It's not easy getting to the top. And she has really struggled to get there. And now she's here. Oh boy. How do we get through this moment? There's some satire. There's some brief darkness here and there. Some little comedic bits. I had fun with this movie. I don't think this is going to work for everybody, but if you're a fan of Charlie XCX and you kind of get like the world she's in, or you're just maybe a fan of some of the people in this film, like let's say you're a fan of Rachel Sennett, even though Rachel Sennett is playing Rachel Sennett, yeah, that Brad adjacent universe, if you're into it, you'll probably like this movie. I had a good time with it. It was interesting to watch in a theater. Watch it with Spice World, do a double feature. I had some fun with this, but I can see how this might be a very cold film to some people who might be just like, God, just like deal with it. But this is all an exaggerated idea and a perspective that is not based in reality. Or is it? But The Moment from 2026, directed by Aiden Zamiri. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars. I just have to say, I was really happy to see that Charlie XCX is very much aware of what's going on in the world and how Brett has affected all of us. I just realized this. When you go to the page for the moment on Letterboxd, it says Letterbox XCX. So not Letterbox XCX. Like, it knows that it's Charlie's Movies page. Yeah. So up next, we have Wuthering Heights from 1939, directed by William Wyler. The tagline is, "I am torn with desire, tortured by hate." Young orphan Heathcliff is adopted by the wealthy Earnshaw family and moves into their estate, Wuthering Heights. Soon, the new resident falls for his compassionate foster sister, Kathy. The two share a remarkable bond that seems unbreakable until Kathy, feeling the pressure of social convention, suppresses her feelings and marries Edgar Linton, a man of means who fits her stature. Heathcliff vows to win her back. Oh boy. Clearly I watched this because the new Wuthering Heights movie is out. I haven't seen that one yet. I'll be seeing it soon. But how did I feel about this one? I think Laurence Olivier is like really terrific from start to finish in this film as Heathcliff. Really great performance. I like the highs and the lows of the picture, the turmoil of the relationship. And Merle Oberon, who I didn't know anything about, and I don't think I've seen her in anything before, I came to really enjoy her as Kathy. I want to shout out to Be Kind Rewind. They did a video about Merle Oberon, and we learned some things about Merle Oberon. I'm not going to spoil, so I recommend you watch the Merle Oberon video to learn more about her from that, in case you didn't know. Like, I fully will say, I am unfortunately very, very green when it comes to the world of classic film. Man, unfortunately, I don't have enough experiences with movies like this, and I've seen some of them here and there, but it's just not my forte. But I was so glad I watched this movie. I haven't seen a lot of movies with Laurence Olivier. I have seen some with David Niven, who's also in this film. He plays Edgar Linton. But the way that this movie is told and the dramatics of it, I was really like in it. I was so in it. I was so like having a good time, even when the movie feels a little slight. Now, the thing is though, pretty much every version of Wuthering Heights on film, like most of them, I want to say, if not all of them, don't adapt the entire novel. And I haven't read it, so am I going to have to read it? I guess. But for a story, this feels complete. I liked this. I enjoyed the way the film was filmed. Yes. Laurence Olivier's Heathcliff and Merle Oberon. Just, she really shines in like the last third of this film. The role of Kathy just doesn't kind of seem like much, but when she has to bring on the dramatics and really have her moments, just really solid work. I don't know what else to say, because as this film, it kind of feels simplistic, but then again, the social stuff that's there in this, as you're watching it, might not seem like very exciting, but I think it all ties up really, really well in this film, and also good scoring too. It's a good one. Wuthering Heights from 1939, directed by William Wyler. I give this one 3 stars. I think it's a good film. I haven't seen a lot of William Wyler's films, but I want to mention here, just because I can, The Heiress from 1949, starring Olivia de Havilland. If you have not seen that film, watch that movie. It's tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. I loved The Heiress. That is a film I very much recommend. A film I can't recommend, though, it's Good Boy from 2025, directed by Ben Leonberg. The tagline is, "Trust his instincts." A loyal dog moves to a rural family home with his owner Todd, only to discover supernatural forces lurking in the shadows. As dark entities threaten his human companion, the brave pup must fight to protect the one he loves most. This stars Indy the dog as Indy the doggo, who senses that something is up with his owner. This is barely a movie. I hate to say it. It just feels like a project. It doesn't feel like there's a real story here. It feels clumsy. It's not well edited. It's not well shot. I think the dog is really not giving much of a performance here, and I wanted to give this movie a shot. Like, I'd heard some very positive things about it and then some very negative things, but I feel like Ben Leonberg is just not a filmmaker. If this is what he's going to do for a feature film project, it's not. I was just not satisfied by this movie at all. It absolutely, like, if you're going to do this kind of story, do it shorter. Don't make it this long. It's only 73 minutes, but the tediousness of it and the way that the film is structured, I don't care. I didn't get anything out of this movie other than feeling bad for Indy the dog and the things that he was put through to make this movie. That poor animal. How could you do this? Don't watch Good Boy from 2025, directed by Ben Leonberg. It's barely a horror film. It's barely anything. Gave this 1.5 stars. Maybe those are only for Indy, I guess. I don't know. He looked pretty good in some shots. He deserves better. Sorry, Indy. Why? How could you let your owners do this to you? I know you don't have a choice. Luckily, we're going to end this episode on a good note with our next two films, but the next one is Send Help from 2026, directed by Sam Raimi. The tagline is Meet Linda Little. She's from strategy and planning. She's the boss now. Two colleagues become stranded on a deserted island, the only survivors of a plane crash. On the island, they must overcome past grievances and work together to survive. But ultimately, it's a battle of wills and wits to make it out alive. Rachel McAdams stars as Linda Little. She's a bit of a, I don't know, average kind of gal. She likes her home. She likes her survivor. She's into survivalist stuff, and she likes to travel, and she's in an office every day, and she's good at reports and accounting. But one day, Dylan O'Brien's Bradley Preston strolls in the office to take over after the passing of his father, and Linda is excited to see him. Bradley is not excited to see Linda, and to make matters worse, they get into a private jet to go, I think they were going to Bangkok, for a business meeting, and Linda doesn't know that Bradley was going to take advantage of her work, and the things she does, and then cut her loose. But then, tragedy strikes. They are in a plane crash, and they are stuck on an island, abandoned, together, alone. Linda has all the skills, though, to survive, and she's perfectly happy, but Bradley is miserable, and he's even injured, so Linda has to take care of him. So how are these two people going to work it out? Well, this is not a conventional survivor film. Oh, no. Oh, no, it's not the two of them just kind of waiting for help. It's Linda taking things into her own hands, because Bradley definitely needs her to survive. And this is a Sam Raimi film. If you've seen The Evil Dead or Drag Me to Hell, you know what kinds of things Sam Raimi likes to do, and he does a lot of those things in this film. At the very least, I was hoping this movie would be enjoyable for both performances, and I think they're both great. I think Rachel McAdams is really great. I think Dylan O'Brien, awesome job here, keeping up with Rachel McAdams and also making himself be enough of a not one note character, because he's definitely a scumbag. But there's enough going on here that we kind of see the different sides of him and how he reacts to what's going on. And you're thinking that could be a very simplistic film, but there's levels here to their dynamics between their relationship and how they will get by. And I'm not going to spoil anything. I would say definitely watch Send Help. I had a lot of fun with this film, even when I felt like it could very well be too predictable, too much going on for, ideas, but no, satisfaction. I was definitely satisfied with this. I laughed a lot during this movie, had a good time, really quite enjoyed it, and I don't want to spoil a thing, though. The shortfalls of the film, like the filming kind of looking like some kind of exotic garden and not really very, it didn't seem like enough of a deserted island for my taste. I feel like the movie could overcome it. There is enough creative things to Sam Raimi, and then these two performers together, working together, or not working together, kind of overcame the things I was afraid of, and by the end of the film, I had a great time. So, Send Help from 2026, directed by Sam Raimi, 3.5 stars from me. Had a great time. Another thing I want to mention, if you don't like bodily fluids and ickiness, don't watch this movie. It goes there at times, and it's definitely a kind of sick humor that Sam Raimi is really good at throughout this film. It's there. If you know Sam Raimi, you know. I would absolutely watch this movie again too. I had such a good time. I was so happy. Thank you, Sam Raimi. Thank you for making a movie that's not a Marvel movie, not a Spider-Man, not a Doctor Strange, you know. Do something else next. I've never like thought of Sam Raimi being one of my favorite filmmakers, but he has definitely made enough movies that I've seen that I can say for a good time, watch Sam Raimi. I am thankful he's back. And now our final film for this episode is Kokuho from 2025, directed by Sang-il Lee. There is no tagline for this film. Nagasaki, 1964. Following the death of his Yakuza father, 15-year-old Kiku is taken under the wing of a famous kabuki actor. Alongside Shunsuke, the actor's only son, he decides to dedicate himself to the traditional form of theater. For decades, the two young men grow and evolve together, and one will become the greatest Japanese master of the art of kabuki. Ryo Yoshizawa plays Kiku, and Rusei Yokohama plays Shunsuke. The two actors grow together, though Kiku has the unfortunate fact of not having kabuki in his family lineage. He is just coming into the art and is told because his bloodline is not in the arts of kabuki, he will never be as great as one could be, such as Shunsuke. However, Shunsuke is not as successful as Kiku in kabuki, and Kiku becomes, you know, a legend, a master. Everybody loves Kiku. However, as soon as he rises, he then falls in his performances, in his ability to be the master. And there are controversies in his life, and he struggles, and he wants to get by. And how will he ever survive if he is not performing kabuki? Oh gosh, this is an epic film. My goodness. I did not know much of anything about kabuki, and I'm still not sure I know much about it after this film, but it does give you a glimpse into this world of performance and creativity and dedication that, as an epic film, I guess it's successful. I'm kind of left feeling like, wow, there was a lot in that film I really didn't know about, and then left feeling, but was the movie well made? It was and it wasn't. There was a lot of very beautiful performances that the movie gives you plenty of glimpses into. Like, I think that's the strong point. For a movie about kabuki performance, this movie gives you plenty of that. I think it knows that in order for this film to be about this art, it has to really show that art. And I think that's a great strength to it. Ryu Yoshizawa's performance as Kiku is good, and I really understood Kiku's motivations and how he was really a complicated person. He's no saint, that's for sure. Ken Watanabe plays Hanjiro Hanai, who really supports Kiku in his quest to become a performer despite not having that family heritage. Because Shunsuke really, like, screws the pooch. Like, he just doesn't have the drive that Kiku has. So when Kiku becomes a good performer, you see it. You see how good of a performer he is. There's plenty of things about this world that will get in Kiku's way. And Kiku himself is one of those issues. It's really... it's a kind of typical rise and fall of the successful performer. Gosh, like the movie Valentino that I watched a while ago about Rudolph Valentino, similar kind of a path. There's a lot of conventions to this, which I think, even though they are conventions where you might be like, oh gosh, here's the scene where so-and-so does this. Yes, we get that here. Those conventions also help the picture, for sure. Like, for someone like me who doesn't know anything about this world, that can help me understand the journey better, even when I'm feeling a little green to the subject matter. It's a very handsome picture. I primarily saw this because it got released at my theater, and I was like, oh, I have to see this. Why do I have to see this? Well, this was the Japanese film selection for the 90th Annual Academy Awards for the film for international feature, and it also actually got nominated for the best makeup and hairstyling category. So I was like, yeah, gotta be a completionist, go see it, because it's at the theater. It's getting released by G Kids distribution, so luckily you will probably be able to see this movie in some parts of the United States. It's done over $100 million internationally, and yet I didn't hear about this movie or know it even existed until Oscar nomination morning, which is crazy. I do think it's too bad that this didn't get nominated for production design and costume design as well, though, because it's a very handsome, big, epic journey of a film. And even when I kind of felt like it wasn't too successful, there was enough stuff going on that I was with the picture. Like, I was really in it. And for something that is 174 minutes long, that's right. I didn't find it to be a struggle to watch. That was my biggest fear. Is this going to be a movie about something I know nothing about and I don't find it captivating and it's really long and I feel like walking out? I was not about to be that person, and this movie didn't make me feel like I wanted to be that person. So, yeah, it's a successful film. I think Ryo Yoshizawa is pretty good in this. Rusei Yokohama also well suited as Shinsuke. Like, they had good dynamics together. It's really just about these two characters together. And then the absence of one of them in the world, and just the friendship that's there, the journey, you know, big epic film. And I enjoyed it. I give this 3 stars. Yeah, it's got some flaws. It might not be a perfect movie, but enough about it really worked for me as a viewer, and I recommend it. So if you want to watch it, you know, check it out somewhere. I have to really wonder, like, what the life will be of this film in the United States, at least after it leaves theaters in the next couple weeks. And I know it's actually going to be playing in some IMAX theaters somewhere. There's no IMAX local to me, so I don't have a take on that really. But I bet it shows up on like Canopy, and like people like really get into it, and it becomes like a thing, you know. I bet it does. Even when it's a film that I'm kind of like, I'm not sure it's gonna work for everybody, but yeah, it's a good film. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I saw it. That's the one thing I'm taking away from this, really. I'm so glad I saw this, because if I didn't see this movie, I would have just probably been like, yeah, whatever, it's probably got good makeup. But the makeup and hairstyling of this movie is so integral to the world of kabuki, and also giving you the feeling of these people put this on themselves. This is part of not just their performance, but who they are, and the storytelling that gives you more of a glimpse into their humanity. Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, it's a, you know, it's a flawed film, but I still think it's a very successful film in very many ways. So yeah, that's the episode. What are the takeaways from this episode, despite the fact that, like, I just haven't been watching a lot of movies, at least for me? Send Help. Definitely check out Send Help. If you have the chance to see Kokuho and you want to see it, see it. I don't know what else to say. Wuthering Heights, William Wyler. It's good. I liked it. And Song Sung Blue has really, really tremendous performance pieces. Even when, you know, I feel like the movie might be too basic in some parts, those music moments really overcome that. And I found Arco to be delightful. Check out Arco if you have the chance to. Yeah. But what's coming for the next episode? Well, I was thinking about watching F1. I know. I haven't seen the new Wuthering Heights movie. I will probably be seeing that this week. I hope so. I just want to get it out of the way at this point. No, that's being very negative. I don't know. I've got a vacation coming up, so not sure what I'll be getting to the theater to see. Pillion. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be seeing Pillion, and allegedly it goes wide this Friday, the 27th. Oh boy. But will it be wide in my neck of the woods? I mean, we got Kokuho. We have to get Pillion. Come on now. Alexander Skarsgård. We got the moment. We got the Charlie XCX movie, you know? There's something going on, I think, with Regal Cinemas. Like, I think they think my theater is really special, but we're just kind of in the middle of whatever. Up in New Hampshire, yeah. But if I don't have to travel to Boston, that's cool with me. Oh yeah, Mr. Novity versus Putin. I have that rented, so I will be watching that and talking about it. I gotta look up the other documentaries that are nominated for Best Documentary Feature, cause I gotta get those in if I can. I hope I can. Oh goodness. Yeah, let's just stop talking. That's the episode. My name is Mallory. Thank you so much for listening. Cinema 5000 is the website. cinema5kpod@gmail.com. Send an email if you want. You got some notes you want to give me. You want to complain about how I talk about things or whatever, you know. On YouTube, Cinema 5000 Podcast, and on Bluesky, it's Cinema 5000. And of course, on cinema5000.com. There's all kinds of links on there. I have the blog. Sometimes I write there. I always post the YouTube videos when I upload them there too. So you can check that out if you're into the YouTube. Apparently some people are. I have this one video that has like all these views and I don't know why. There's like nothing special about that episode. Like no big movies or anything. And for some reason it just is like getting a lot of views. Maybe it's because it's got this movie on it. With Rob Lowe. I can't remember the name of it, but maybe it's that movie. People are like, oh, I want to hear someone talk about that movie. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm Mallory. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you again soon. All right, bye.